which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councillor Olson.
Here.
Councillor Fennessy.
Here.
Councillor Bender.
Here.
Councillor Sweeney. Here. Councillor McDonald.
Here.
Councillor Magolia.
Here.
Councillor Kinsman.
Here.
Councillor Herrick.
Here.
Councillor McKenzie.
Here.
Councillor Dalbeck.
Here.
Representative Kwong will proceed.
Item number 4 is approval of the minutes from December 17th, 2013.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This time I'd like to present a proclamation to John McKenna and his wife on behalf of the City of Superior and John, would you mind coming up? Most of us in the room have long and fond memories of Jack McKenna, a local and regional newscaster and announcer for the Duluth Superior and Greater regional area. Jack was a resident of the City of Superior for decades upon decades, and we all looked up and admired him in many degrees and many respects across the spectrum of the area. Jack passed away a little bit ago, and he's had a very beautiful history in our Twin Ports. And my friend Mike Simonson and Lou Martin, former counselor. Lou says Jack was a young guy when he passed away at 91. At any rate, I'd like to offer this proclamation for you, John, and your family. Whereas Jack McKenna ruled the Twin Ports TV airwaves from the time the first VHS television station went on the air in 1899 until 1899, he was the only person to sign on two stations, WDSM TV in 1954 and WDIO TV in 1966. And whereas Jack is best remembered for being the weatherman for over 4 decades, not only for forecasting some of the legendary storms and perfect summer evenings in Superior, but also for eating a leg of Kentucky Fried Chicken or a spoonful of Ridgeman's ice cream during the weather break. Whereas longtime residents of Superior and the region will also remember Jack McKenna as Captain Q with his rubber parrot Angus and Shortcake the shrimp on board a mysterious pirate ship while hosting afternoon movies, cartoons, and Laurel and Hardy shorts, or the scary Jack McKenna who hosted late-night horror flicks as Professor Fantastic on WDIO TV. And whereas even in the 21st century, Jack McKenna continued his much-loved role as Santa Claus, reading a spirited, raspy Night Before Christmas to children during the holidays on Wisconsin Public Radio at station KUWS. And whereas his talent took him away from us to major targets or markets like San Francisco, Denver, Minneapolis, Tucson, and Houston, but he always returned to the head of the lakes. And whereas Jack McKenna began his career at Superior radio station WDSM when it was located on Tower Avenue in 1946 after serving his country in the Second World War from 1942 to 1946 as a meteorologist in the U.S. Air Force in England. And whereas in all, Jack McKenna was on the air, in radio and television for a remarkable 65 years, including the last 12 years hosting Radio Superior with Lou Martin and the late Ray Paulson, a program that still runs on KUWS. And whereas Jack was also a deacon in the Superior Catholic Diocese for years he visited sick people, gave Holy Communion in local hospitals, and assisted in Mass. Whereas a Superior resident since 1985, Jack McKenna celebrated his 91st birthday on August 13, 2013. Now therefore, I, Bruce C. Hagan, Mayor of the City of Superior, hereby proclaim Tuesday, January 21st, 2014 as in memoriam of Jack McKenna Day. John, congratulations and thank you so much on behalf of the city.
On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank everybody, and Jack's memory will live on in our memories. Thank you.
Item 5.1 is a public hearing, a resolution introduced by the Plan Commission to vacate and discontinue the east-west alley and a portion of the north-south alley between Banks and Oaks Avenues and North 14th and Belknap Streets.
At this time, I'll call for a public hearing and ask those that wish to speak in favor of to do so now. For the second time, those that wish to speak in favor of may do so now. And for the final time, those that wish to speak in favor of may do so now. Hearing none, those that wish to speak in opposition may do so now. Those that wish to speak in opposition may do so now. And for the final time, those that wish to speak in opposition may do so now. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the public hearing to close and ask the pleasure of the council. For the motion and second for approval. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Planning Director Cirque is requesting to move up item number 10.2, if the council would make that motion.
For the motion and second to move up 10.2 for discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Director Cirque.
I got to read it first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Item 10.2 is the resolution of the City of Superior authorizing the filing of an application with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation for a grant under the Harbor Assistance Program for the Fraser Phase 3 Dock Wall Rehabilitation Project.
Director Cirque.
Mayor, thank you. Councilors, again, we have been asked on behalf of Fraser Shipyards to submit a Harbor Assistance Grant application for about $3.6 million to the Department of Transportation. I think in my tenure, this is probably my 8th one that has come through council. And essentially, this is a kind of a formality where we have to pass a resolution. The application gets moved down to the state of Wisconsin, and they review and probably find out in March whether or not the project is awarded. Again, this is a Phase 3. I think there's a map included in your packet that shows where this is located. Essentially, it's located in an area where there is open water. Phase 2 or Phase 1 was where you currently see that ship docked on the picture, and Phase 3 or Phase 2 is directly north and west of the white line. So this is Phase 3, about 575 feet of dock wall. Essentially, it's an improvement. It is a rehabilitation and just a better way and more efficient way for Fraser to not only winter ships but also work on ships. And I think it's a great improvement. And this would be, if successful, the second harbor grant that has been awarded. The first one was Phase 1. Phase 2 was awarded through Congressman Obie's office and will be completed here shortly. Tom Corelli, who is the president and CEO of Fraser Shipyards, is here if there are any questions. However, I just request that we continue to move on this and approve it.
What is the pleasure? For the motion and second to approve, discussion. Tom, you have any comments? You have any comments?
Yeah, I do actually. As Jason said, this is kind of the Phase 3. I never could read instructions. As Jason said, this is Phase 3. Phase 1 constructed a very large dock of which we're able to dock one vessel. Fraser originally and through its heritage was designed for much smaller vessels. Average vessel now is 700 to 800 foot. we have to update in order to accommodate. I call them parking spots. The more parking spots we have, the more vessels are here. We've got 10 vessels in the port this year. We've virtually exhausted almost all of the available berthing area. This Phase 3 will connect the small Phase 2 and the larger Phase 1 and allow us almost 2,000 linear feet of dockage, assuring us space for two, and if we squeeze it just right, we can get 3 vessels in there. Each vessel in the wintertime can be up to 15 to 20,000 man-hours of work. And we use this to sustain us, of course. And the winter work is the bulk of the work we do. We're trying to change that and have more work during the summer. But this winter work, when all the vessels come in, it's a lot of hours of employment, a lot of revenue comes in. We're there to, the yard's been there 123 years. We want it to stay there another 123. So we've got to modernize, we've got to have the facilities that match the vessels that are out there now. So this is a great step forward. It gives us a great linear dock, and we'd love to have it.
Thank you
Any
very much.
questions I have from anybody?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 6 is a consent agenda. President Bender has requested to separate item 6.91 for discussion.
For the motion, a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 6.91. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Councilor Bender.
Yeah, wait, I'm going to read it first. Let me read it first, Lauren. Yeah.
Read it and it should be moved
Item 6.91, the Human Resources Committee, January 14th, 2014. Item number 1A is to approve Mayor Hagan's proposed 2014 salary wage adjustment and administrative alignments, Phase 1 and 2, and B, to approve the updated job descriptions with corrections. You do have a handout tonight from the Mayor, Council President Bender, and Vice President McDonald, requesting the following amendments to the recommendation. The first change of the recommended adjustment of 1% retroactive to July 1st, 2013 to 2% for all represented and non-represented staff, with the exclusion of police and fire represented and non-represented. And number 2, to eliminate the 2% increase for 2014 for the positions of the Finance Director, Development Planning and Port Director, Human Resources Director, Park and Recreation Director, and Information Services Manager.
Councilor?
I would make a motion to approve.
Heard a motion and a second to approve. Discussion? Councilor?
Yes. Well, first of all, I know I've had some questions by some people. Why are we changing it from 1% retroactive to July 2013 as opposed, why are we changing it to 2%? And again, this is coming from somebody who didn't really do well in math, but if you think about, if you get a 1% for a half a year, that really works out to a 0.5% over a year. So if you got a 2% for a half a year, it would really work out in the long run to be a 1% for the year. So that was the reason. And if you don't like that, blame me. I was the one who suggested that to the mayor, and he said that was okay. So that was my comment on that one. And I'm all in favor of this. I really think that both the represented and the non-represented employees will all be happy to be able to get those raises, especially with the hits that they've taken for increased health insurance costs and also increased what they have to pay into the retirement system. And now, as far as the other raises, some of them seem awfully high, and especially when you think about $12,000 a year. I know people who don't make $12,000 in a year. And that's all I have to say at this time.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I would call for a roll call.
Okay. Councilor? I'm sorry.
Recommendation.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I don't know where all of you are in your deliberations, but if I might make a procedural recommendation, that which is before you, of course, was approved by the Human Resources Committee back on January the 14th. And the memo you have before you dated January 20th obviously tweaks that, those recommendations some. Because that which is before you now is somewhat varied from that which the Human Resources Committee acted on the 14th. I would recommend, in the spirit of keeping it very clean, a motion to amend would be appropriate. That being a motion to amend the Human Resources Committee's action to include those two pieces that are before you by way of the memo dated January 20th.
As the original motion maker, I will make that motion to amend.
And I'll second it.
The motion.
We can use the city attorney's wording.
Heard the motion and second to amend the Human Resources Committee recommendation to include points 1 and 2. Discussion? Counselor?
Can I speak? Yeah, this is kind of crazy, but I find all this really ironic, but at the same time disturbing, because for months I've listened to many who've said we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that, we need to increase sewer rates. There's not enough money for that. Landfill is running at a deficit. We need more money, and where are we going to get it? There's no money. Hear that all the time. No money for an animal shelter, even though we bonded money for it. There's no money to fix or upgrade even one railroad crossing in order to give some residents relief from train horn noise. And the list goes on as far as not having money. I've accepted this. If there's no money, there's no money. It's as simple as that. But now the same ones who have said this, that we don't have any money, now seem to think that we have the money to give 8 people a total of about, I think it's $55,000 in yearly wage increases plus 2%. In some cases, this means $12,000 raises to people already making $80,000 and $90,000 per year. The benchmark and the numbers people aren't asking where this money's coming from now. Someone needs to explain all this to me because it doesn't make sense. It certainly doesn't make sense to the rank and file, who, when the smoke clears, will be getting less than 1%. The public also wants answers because many will be outraged to see seeing as how some of them are barely making, like Warren said, $12,000 a year. If there's no reasonable answer for all this, I can't see how anybody could support it, support this recommendation as it's written. I don't.
Any further discussion? If not, please call the roll.
The first motion is going to be to approve the amendment to the HRC recommendations as presented by the mayor, council president, and vice president. Would you like a roll call on this one also?
Please.
We're going to start with
And again, this is just to approve the amendment.
the amendments.
Not to approve 6.9.1.
Correct. Councilor Sweeney, you're up first. Councilor Sweeney?
Yes.
Councilor McDonald?
Yes.
Councilor Mazzolia? Yes. Councilor Finsland?
Yes.
Councilor Herrick?
Yes.
Councilor McKenzie?
Yes.
Councilor Dahlbeck?
Yes.
Councilor Olson?
Yes.
Councilor Fennessy?
Yes.
Councilor Bender?
Motion carried.
The second roll call vote is to approve the HRC recommendations as amended. Councilor McDonald?
Yes.
Councilor Mazzolia? Councilor Finsland?
Yes.
Councilor Herrick? Councilor McKenzie?
No.
Councilor Dahlbeck?
No.
Councilor Olson?
No.
Councilor Fennessy?
Yes.
Councilor Bender?
No.
Councilor Sweeney?
Yes.
6-4, the item passes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Could I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes.
Frog, for something like this, don't we need a super majority, or am I off base on that one?
For this, you simply need a simple majority.
What needs a supermajority?
Well, lots of things require supermajority votes. I wouldn't have a list in front of me at the moment. The one item that does require a supermajority vote typically would be a modification to the budget or a spend that would occur outside of the parameters of a budget that has already been adopted. And relevant to this matter that you just voted on, those funds have been contemplated and budgeted for. In fact, they've been specifically identified as in an August memo from the mayor that came along with the budget packet back then. A quantity of funds was set aside for various wage increases or adjustments, and that was absorbed by that line item, or this was absorbed by that line item.
Okay.
Item number 7.1, Public Works Director Getzman is recommending to award the bid for the design services for Phase 3, capping of the landfill containment cell number 3 to Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson, Inc., for $37,400.
Put a motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 7.2, Parks and Recreation Administrator Morgan is submitting a new Hayes Court Ballfield Complex lease, maintenance, and operations agreement 2014 through 16 with Superior Youth Organization with increased fees as outlined in the document.
Put a motion and second to approve, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 8.1, Mayor Hagan is recommending the following committee appointments to the Business Improvement District Board of Directors, Nick Carhonen and Evie Gunderson, the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities, Toby Johnson, and to the Tree Board, Larry Johnson.
Put a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 10.1, a resolution introduced by the Plan Commission is setting a public hearing to vacate an alley located between 30th and 31st Avenues East and West 1st Street and West Itasca Street.
What is the pleasure? Second. Put a motion and second to approve, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all we got.
Any other business to come before this body? All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.